I'm going to be watching these hearings very closely, looking forward to the next round subsequently. By the way, the unsung hero on the Republican side and asking questions, Senator Sass, I salute you. Check him out as well online, folks. Great questioning, great analysis. And, Senator Lee, of course, and Senator Cruz, of course, all did phenomenal jobs. But, Ben Sass, great job. Going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Michael Knowles, the author of the #1 bestseller on Amazon, for a very long time now. I think it's just in the political humor category, but for a while there, for a couple of days, dare I say a week, it was #1 across Amazon for book sales. Reasons to Vote for Democrats. We go deep into the heart of this issue, deep into the heart of this book, going through all the research that Michael Knowles did. Trying to keep a straight face, and you'll understand why when we do the interview, folks. Gene Baradelli, Behind Enemy Lines. We'll be back right after these brief words. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com, check out the website, check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on, make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines Radio is all about being right. No, seriously, it is. If you ever listen to Russ Gallo or me go back and forth on some issue, we always want to make sure that we remember who said what and when we said it. That's why we go to goonrecord.com. It's a brand new social media website. Challenge people on what they believe, whether it's in politics, sports, entertainment, finance, whatever. There's a category for you at goonrecord.com. Check it out right now. Tell us, what do you stand for? It's time for you to go on record. Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Gene Baradelli, back behind Enemy Lines. Joining me on the line right now, it's a pleasure to welcome probably the most accomplished author that we've ever had on the show. And that's saying a lot, because we've had people like Roger Stone on, and we've had so many different authors on the show, and, it's a pleasure and an honor to welcome to the show the author of the #1 best-selling book on Amazon right this moment, as we are taping this. The book is Reasons to Vote for Democrats, a Comprehensive Guide. The cultural correspondent for the Daily Wire, Mr. Michael Knowles. Michael, thanks for coming on, man.
Gene, thanks for having me.
So, let's immediately talk about the book. It is 266 pages of, quote, exhaustive research, getting into the mind of Democrats, progressive liberals, whatever you want to call them. Man, that's a heavy lift. How'd you do it?
Well, it's a heavy lift. I appreciate you reading the book. A lot of times on a book tour, people, they won't actually read the whole book, but it seems you read it cover to cover.
Cover to cover. And I don't know how I got through it, to be honest with you.
Well, it was a heavy lift on the research. I'll tell you that. It took a very long time to research this book. I would say it took basically my whole life. It took about as long as I've been politically active and aware. It took substantially less time to write the book. It took, if I were to estimate, about 15 minutes from beginning to write the book to uploading it onto Amazon. So that part was a little bit easier, but the response has been terrific. Obviously, when you write an academic and scholarly work, as I have, a lot of times it just will not reach the mass market. But it appears there's a real appetite to learn all of the reasons and arguments to vote for Democrats out there in the popular market. And it's just really thrilling. I think it's a great day for the Academy.
I mean, not for nothing, the biggest question that conservatives, Republicans, and those on the right have always asked about, the liberal mindset is why? Why are they the way they are? And you kind of nail it by you have to go through the whole book. Listen, I don't want to spoil it. You have to go through the whole book to understand. But you nailed the why, and maybe the first book that ever nailed the actual question that everyone has always asked, because for the life of me, up until reading it, I had no clue.
That's right. I think there obviously are a lot of books out there in conservative politics and political philosophy, and the one issue with them is they're too verbose. I think those books, they are loquacious, they are not concise, and when they're not concise, sometimes you miss the argument. So what I went for in my book was really concision and to shine a spotlight on absolute and total vacuity. And I think we've succeeded in that. I think that's the reason why the book has captured the attention and the imagination of so many people.
Now, how do you feel about being a trendsetter? Because as I'm perusing Amazon, there are many authors out there trying to, dare I say, plagiarize exactly what you did, except trying to turn it around for reasons to vote for Republicans. How do you feel about all these pretenders out there trying to duplicate what you said took your whole life to accomplish?
Well, at the risk of sounding prideful, it seems to me that nobody does nothing as well as I do, and so there are a lot of pretenders out there. Basically, the minute we put the book up, there were a half dozen or a dozen books called Reasons to Vote for Republicans, which copied almost word for word my research. But they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, and it's just a little sad that they didn't imitate the book very well. And it's sad for them because whereas our book, is the number one bestseller in the world, has sold over 75,000 copies, has over 2,000 reviews, theirs have sold about 6 or 7 copies and have very few reviews. And to paraphrase our president, I would have to say, sad.
All right, you win. You got me to laugh first. In case you people have been living under a rock, you should know that we're talking about a best-selling book that, in the words of Jerry Seinfeld, is about nothing, because it's 266 blank pages. Okay, so yeah, you won. That was
hard to hold out, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, we were doing pretty good there. But in all seriousness, Michael, how did you first come about this ultimate troll that you were doing, and just decide to just nail everyone in one shot? It's probably the most epic troll in the history of the word trolling.
Well, I do think, thank you, I appreciate that. I do think it's probably the best troll of the year. I think that President Trump's election was probably the best troll of last year. So I would say if I trolled any harder, I would become the president. So I don't know, I've got to be very careful with how this troll continues.
Yeah, listen, you don't want all that responsibility. I mean, not
yeah, that's right.
But you know,
you need to use words.
It really is the best response that I could think of, really. Because when you go through, and let's be serious for just 1 second, if we can. I don't know if we can, but we're going to try.
We'll try. We're going to try.
But when you go through the Democrat platform from 2016, when you look at in past conventions where they booed God, and I know that you've mentioned this on prior interviews, and you look at exactly how the far left has really co-opted their movement, there really isn't a good reason anymore, or at least an intelligent reason to continue supporting that party as it stands right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is a media narrative right now because they're so apoplectic over President Trump and the Republicans winning the House and the Senate. and obviously all of the state houses and governorships. There's this narrative that the right is at war with itself, and the right is imploding, and the left is coalescing and putting forward a positive agenda to resist the president and Paul Ryan and the Congress. And this narrative is so wrong. It's exactly the opposite, and I think the wild success of this blank book shows that, because during the presidential campaign, Hillary Clinton's pinned tweet was a photo of Donald Trump. And she thought this was clever, and I think her supporters did too. But what they don't understand is that you cannot win an election by offering nothing and just saying, I'm not the other guy. You have to offer a positive agenda for people to vote for, not just vote against. And, between President Obama and Hillary Clinton, the left has been devastated, and the Democratic Party has been devastated, beginning in 2010, just 2 years into President Obama's first term. So on the right, on the other hand, you have an absolute exuberance. There was something about the win of Donald Trump that really brought out an invigorated Republican Party, an invigorated right. And certainly we saw this building throughout the Tea Party movements and as we overtook additional seats in the country. But for the first time in a very, very long time, certainly the first time in my lifetime, the right is winning the culture. We're the subversive ones. We're the funny ones. We're the cool guys. And that is immensely powerful. And another note on President Trump, if there's one thing the man has showed us, it's that a good sense of humor and, a little trollery and a little ribbing is an immensely powerful political tool.
Absolutely. I mean, I would mark your book as maybe the turning point in that, because then, as you see later on, you have outlets like Stephen Colbert making fun of Rachel Maddow and her impression of Geraldo Rivera revealing the Al Capone vault. I mean,
that's right.
You see, I mean, the whole epic troll that he did on, we have found a joke, that he did on his show. It's now, like you said, it's kind of turning cool. Is this a turning point? Do you see your book, or do you see Trump's election, or both really, as part of that same turning point in culture? You're the culture correspondent for the Daily Wire. You see it, probably seen it for years. Is this a turning point, in your opinion?
This is a major turning point, and I'll tell you why. I'm a native New Yorker, but I'm out in Hollywood at the moment, and we see that in the industry of show business and television and movies, conservatives are virtually shut out. The left can be quite vindictive. I know a lot of people out here who have lost jobs and opportunities because of their political views. It's no secret that there's a group called the Friends of Abe, which is a sort of support network and semi-secret society for conservatives in show business. And this is true also in mainstream journalism. The left has had a lock on the mainstream press forever and ever. The thing that has changed is the ubiquity of the internet in all aspects of culture. The advent of new media news websites, the advent of new media entertainment. It's given the right a freer marketplace and freer reign, the Wild West. So you have people who've had their intelligence and their creativity suppressed for so long by the traditional media outlets. They're finally free, and that's why you see all of the memes. That's why the conservatives are so much better at the internet. That's why you see conservatives absolutely dominating new media at the Daily Wire. My pal Ben Shapiro's show is the top-rated podcast.
Yeah. We don't listen. We don't plug the competition here. All right, just chill with that.
That's right. That's right.
No, of course, we love Ben. No, we love Ben. We love Ben. I wish I had his ratings. But
I love the thing I like about Ben is that he blurbed my book and called it thorough.
Fantastic.
The description. Yeah.
Absolutely. So listen, I love what you did here. I bow to your abilities to troll the left.
Trollery.
Yes, absolutely. If there was a masterclass in trolling, that book that you wrote, I guess I should put in quotes, is absolutely fantastic. Folks, check out, I'm going to say buy it, Reasons to Vote for Democrats, a comprehensive guide. It's the #1 bestseller on Amazon. And also check out Michael Knowles at Michael J. Knowles on the Twitters. We actually started talking via Facebook. That's how this interview kind of came around. I'm